Hey guys, Chris Dunn here, aka the Boogie Man. On tonight's episode, we're gonna cut down a badass set of slots. That's right. Bob, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, Reiki, commented a couple of weeks back, or actually about 3 or 4 weeks back, that he wanted to see an episode about us cutting a set of slots down. And I've been threatening to do this for about a year. So we're gonna start tonight and show you about it. It's one night episode, pretty easy. Here's the key to cutting a set of these 5 to 6 inch slots down to like a 4. You're hard to get really 3.5 out of them, but you can get down to 4, and if you can get down to 4, you're golden. You got to find the right set of slots. This meat right here is what we're going to cut out. And I'm gonna say that's about 1.25 inches to 1 3/8 inches. We can even cut some of the bead out. It don't matter, because when we weld this up, that's gonna be plenty of a bead to lock the wheel on. Before I go any farther, let me make this crystal clear. If you're gonna do a set of these for yourself, I'm saying do them for drag race cars only. If you want to put them on the street, that is on you. Me personally, they'll work on a drag car, on a gasser, they look cool, and I'm not saying they won't work on street cars on your hot rod. That is your decision. I'm warning you now, the ones that I do here are strictly for drag racing only, where there's no side load on the rim. If you're out here turning and, going around a curve at 55 mile an hour, 60, there's a lot of side load on the rim constantly. I think they'd probably be all right, but that's your ass and that's your call. Back to what I'm saying. You got to find the right set of slots, okay? You got to look for this sweet spot right here where there's a lot of meat to remove, because we're going to cut it from here and we're going to put it back together. This is really not complicated. It's pretty easy. I've got one chucked up in the lathe already, and we're going to cut it down and show you. And you need to know something else everybody needs to understand. Ain't none of these wheels true. So if you think you're going to put this wheel in here and it's going to be true and you can put a dial indicator on it and get it down to the 1,000th, man, it ain't happening. If that was the case, you wouldn't have tires being, go and having your tires balanced and all of this. If everything was true, you wouldn't even have weights on tires. The rims are just as bad as tires. So when you go get your tires balanced, you're not just balancing the tires. You got to balance the rims too, because the rims are out of whack just as bad as the tires are. When you see this thing in the lathe, it's going to be jumping up and down. We're not worried about up and down jump. We don't want wobbling jump. And what we're going to show you is this rim here is bent. And we're going to put it in there and show you how bad it wobbles, and you can't do nothing with that. You might as well forget that rim, because it just ain't going to work out for you. This rim's going to move up and down. That's fine. We're going to cut it straight, part it right off, part it off, put it back, and there you go. Now that I've got the wheel chucked up in the lathe, I've took some bluing, if you noticed, and I have blued 3 places, just like this. It's as simple as just using a little bitty square. I don't care what it is. It can be just a little straight edge. This is nothing but reference. We want to put the rim, always put the rim back in reference to the way we took it apart. So basically what we're going to do here is we're going to mark a number 1 right there. We're going to come over here, because we know we're going to leave this part. We're going to mark a number 1 right there. We are going to take this machinist square, and I'm basically going to lay it in there, and I'm just going to scribe a line like that right there. And I'm going to keep on, and I'm going to scribe a line right here. Now, this ain't got to be to the 1,000ths, people. This is just where, if we take the rim apart like this, we want to put the rim back together as close to how we took it apart. That's where the rim will stay balanced. We're going to go mark this a number 2 right quick. Simple as that. Come over here. We know we ain't going to mess with that. Number 2. We're going to put us a little scribe line right there. We're going to mark it right here against the lip. And there you go. Now I'm going to put this as a number 3. You don't really got to do 3. You can do 2. I like doing 3. I'm going to mark 3 there. I'm going to mark a 3 there. And if you're a machinist, you can do this a whole lot better than what I'm doing. This is just the way I do it, and it works for me. So there you go. Now that we've got the marks where we want them, now we can cut the rim. Now, I'm gonna crank the machine up. And you probably can't hear me, but what I'm gonna show you is it's okay for the rim to move up and down like you see it doing. It's not doing it a lot, it's moving a little bit. But far as true, it's pretty true, okay? So you gotta have a rim that'll turn this good, or you just gonna have a mess on your hands. WD-40, always your friend. WD, hook us up. We love your stuff. Be careful of that right there, the rim's gonna come off. All right, we'll just cut the rim off. That's how fast this goes. We're gonna go over here now. We're gonna start cutting right here. Never take it out. When you cut it once, you gotta leave it set up to make the second cut. So don't cut it off and then go put the rim. No, leave it in there. It ain't gonna hurt nothing, it'll lay right there. So we're gonna come back. We're gonna come over now. And I'm gonna cut, when this is all said and done with, it's gonna take about 1.25 inches out of this wheel. I'm gonna cut about right here. My cutter, my parting tool is pretty wide. It's about 1/8 wide, 125 thousandths. I'm gonna cut about right here this way. Reason being, let me go to neutral, is I wanna leave this roll. Because this right here is gonna be a hair bit bigger around diameter-wise than this is. And that's great. Because when we put this on a steel table, our big steel flat table, what we're gonna do is true the outside up. We're gonna put these edges, we're gonna take some squares and true it up outside, back on our lines. And then that's what we're gonna weld. Then we're gonna tack it up and weld it. So stay tuned, it's gonna get noisy. See how fast we cut that wheel down? Clickety clickety clack, and it's cut down. I'm gonna show y'all some stuff here that's pretty neat, which I'll have to look at this rim and see it, but I'll show you here in a minute, because typically it'll freak you out. Man, you can look at these rims and it'll be thin here and thick here where they casted the rim, and you'll be like, man, I would have thought that was better than that. Well, once I've done this right here, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna change the tool out right quick, and I'm just gonna machine this edge, because I've cut right here and that's exactly where I want it to be. So I'm gonna machine this edge. Okay guys, now I'm not gonna go all through this because number one, it's late, and I'm gonna give you the gist of this because you know how to weld it together. That's pretty easy. If you're not a real good aluminum welder, or you don't have a real good aluminum actual welding machine, take these somewhere to your local welder and get them done. Man, it's your life in your hands. Don't say, well, I got a Harbor Freight, TIG rig that'll weld aluminum and I'm gonna try it myself. I mean, hey man, it's your life. You know what I mean? It's your life, okay? But you need these to be welded good. They'll last and they'll do great, but they gotta be welded proper. I've not even cleaned this yet. But I'm gonna go around here and show you. Number 3, number 3, number 2, number 2, number 1, number 1. That's the reason we done that. And you can actually see the scribe mark, scribe and scribe. So all you want to do is line them back up. Now, if you notice, there's a little lip right here. That's what I was telling you. Normally, I will clean all of this aluminum very, very good, and I'll square it up and tack it. Then I'll clean the bluing off. I mean, it's just a long process I'm not gonna go through, because you're getting the gist of now what we've done. We've took 1.25 inches out of it. We're putting it back together. This is not the square I use. I have a actual machining square next door into Boogie Cave. that I'll bring over here and do this with, you need a very good square. I don't know if I really trust these little speed squares, but I'm gonna give you the gist of this. A good square, you basically, you square it up just like that right there off a good solid table, something that's is perfectly flat. Touch it there, touch it there, touch it there, and line it up. Line the outside and outside up. The reason we do that, when this wheel was machined, they centered it and then they turned the outside lips and they turned where the tires go. So in theory, they're supposed to be really, really close to each other, okay? And that's as close as you need to get this. If everybody says, oh, it's got to be to 1,000. No, it does not. That is what, when you balance tires, that's what you do. There's, finding a rim these days, even a brand new one, that if you chucked it up and put a dial indicator on it, promise you, it will scare you how bad they jump and they're all out of whack. This is all you got to do. So once you do all of this, you can clean this up, start your TIG weld around. Now, I don't weld on the back side sometimes, but if I was somebody else, I would go in here, clean the back side out, and you could weld a bead in that V like that. You could weld another bead. Remember, the big thing is you got to find the right set of slots. You just can't go get any 6-inch slot or 5-inch slot and cut it down, and make it what you want it. It's got to be the right slot like I showed you a while ago. And in fact, now that is a 4.5. So that was a 6-inch slot, and we basically got it about, well, it was 5, no, I would say it was about a 5.5-inch slot, but needless to say, it's close to a 4.5 now, which now you can put a little front runner tire on and it won't look bad. I've got some of this, the last set I done for myself, I got them down to like 4, but it's a different slot. That's what I'm saying. There's so many slot manufacturers out there. When you go to the swap meet, you got to make sure and look for that place to cut the meat out. You got to have the place to cut it out. Now, I can shorten this up some more if I wanted to go in there and chuck this up and cut some more out of it. I probably, to be honest with you, could get at least another quarter back out of it and get it about 4.25. Because all you care about leaving is trying to leave us a little bit of a bead here for the tire to stay. But the tire stay on there anyway. If you ain't turning corners at 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 and 80 and 100 mile an hour, the tire, that's all the bead's for, to keep the tire from rolling off the rim. So, to the inside. And I hope this explained it to you, Bob. And if it didn't, just let me know and I'll message you, or I'll even call you and we'll talk about it over the telephone. Just remember, guys, if you ever have a question or a video you want to see, leave it in the comments. Our channel's more than just, the channel's so many different avenues that we go down, from racing to new products to fabrication to gasser to hot rod, and that's what we're trying to do. I mean, I don't want to just do a technical channel. I want to give y'all guys technical stuff and entertainment too. But if you ever have a video you want to see or something you'd like for us to try to do, leave it in the comments. We'll always try to, answer our fans and take care of that. Chris Dunn, aka the Boogie Man.